Before we begin the meeting this evening, I would like to recognize a group that's here with us this evening. Mr. James, I'd appreciate it if you would just come forward and talk a little bit about the Special Olympics and all the achievements of those students that participated.
Thank you so much. I have a portion of our team. Unfortunately, the summertime brings lots of vacations, so there's people out having good times. But I want to bring up these athletes and introduce everybody. We are fortunate this year to have taken 75 athletes and partners to the Special Olympic Games. We participated in track and field, and we also participated in bocce, or Italian lawn bowling, if you're like, huh? But we have some fierce competitors. The first year we went, we took 29 kids. And our third year, we have 75, so we are growing. Thank you for your support. And so I'm going to call everybody's name and have them come up here, and you guys can kind of go around this way because we're going to want to show off all that bling around your neck, okay? The first person here we have is Maddie. She was a peer partner from Oneida Ridge. And next to her is Jaden Danner. Jaden Danner participated. Come on, sister. Come on. Now she's shy, huh? Jaden participated in track and field, and Maya is a peer partner from Oneida Ridge. Both those girls went with us to Stillwater and were really good about coming to practice and helping us out. Jaden Danner won a few ribbons in track and field, and she maybe wasn't the fastest, but definitely the most congenial. She got a little carried away in the waving to the participants. So she got confused between parade and race. This is Alex Stevens. Alex participated in track and field. He did running long jump, 100-meter dash, and did an incredible job. What medals did you get?
Silver.
Silver. Man, that's pretty good. Okay, this is Hunter Hansen. He participated in bocce. And did you get some medals too?
Yeah.
You just left them in your jewelry case at home?
I left them at home.
Awesome. Okay. Whoa, sorry about that. This is Callie Kolb. Callie did wheelchair races at track and field and got some gold medals around her neck. We call her the Blur. This is Giselle Trong. She participated. Actually, Giselle does some stuff outside of Broken Arrow. She is also an ice figure skater. So she has won several medals doing that this year. So she is our next Michelle Kwan. She also did bowling and did you get a gold medal at bowling? A bronze medal. Perfectly good. And she also participated in bocce with us. She did a good job. Andrew Singletary, Man of the Year, participated in bocce, right? And did you come away with any medals?
Yeah.
Perfect. Do you remember what color they were? Just medal?
Second place.
Second place. Very good. Okay. Next is Jessie Lawson. Come on up here, sweetie. She participated in track and field. She did a 400-meter walk in the pouring rain, and by pouring, I mean pouring. Sean Cunane, I like to call him Zany Cunane. He participated in bocce, right? Yeah. And he doesn't like Olympics at all, can you tell? Kylie Grisso, come on up here. Kylie Grisso participated in a partner walk, and that girl is fast as fast can be. And pushing her is Mr. Matthew Bush, who has a bronze and gold medal for bocce. He did really, really well. Bailey Aerosmith from Oneida Ridge did bocce, and she's wearing a couple of, what color medals? Silver and silver. Very good. Yeah, she did really well. This was her first year to participate, so she did great. Seth, come on up, buddy. Seth Hendricks did some track and field. Did you win some awards at track and field? Did you have fun? Okay, he did really good. He's got a little sick on us and couldn't make it to state games, but surgery never stops Seth, right? You keep on rocking. This girl is so quiet, just would never know she was here. Julie Bookout, come on up. And Julie Bookout did track and field, right? Yeah, and she's also a blur. She's very fast. Right here we have Kayla. Tell me your last name again. Jones. God, why did I forget that? She is a rock star. She played, what'd you play? Bocce. That's right. You're so awesome. I forgot what you played. Keelan Bolds, right here, was a member of our relay team, our gold medal relay team, 4x100 meter, and did some track and field, did really well. Alonzo Aguilar played with his brother, Israel, in bocce, and then another bocce game. He's only got a few medals around his neck, 2 silver and a bronze. Good job. Come on, Delsa. Delsa was a peer partner from Oliver. She helped us out a ton. And Kelsey Ballinger, come on up. Kelsey was a peer partner from Centennial, and we were really fortunate to have her help us out. Emma, come on up, kiddo. Come on, Laura will bring you. This is Emma. Emma is from Leisure Park, and she participated in track and field. And I don't think she had fun either. That's what she said. And she is also, if you go to the Shock games, she is one of the newest Shock girls. So her and one of our other athletes are Shock girls. She won silver, yes. Yeah, she is fast as fast can be, and so darn cute, too. Laura Singletary is a partner. She actually graduated this year. Tier. Hopefully we can steal her from college to go with us still. She has been with us since we started. We're so thankful to have her. Amazing woman. Hopefully a special Okay, all right. Maybe I'll take. Jennifer Chase is from the high school. She is a coach. Katie Fly is from Freshman Academy. She is also a coach. Susan Gunderson, another coach from Centennial. And Elizabeth Benavides is another coach from Centennial. We took 21 adults with us, and oh my gosh, couldn't do it without all of them. So we're so thankful for the help. So let's recognize our athletes together. Thank you. You guys can smile, it's not fortunate.
Mr. James, I wanted to just thank you and thank all of the volunteers and the students for their participation, and I know that you and our parents and students represented the district very well. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. All right, guys, come on.
Great job.
Good job, guys. Laura and
Nice work, man.
I'll buy that medal for $1. $5, I'll buy it. I said you're too cheap on that. You gotta go higher than that. Okay, let me get rid of here just real quick.
Call the meeting to order. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes. The next item on the agenda is the moment of silence to be led by the board vice president.
As we begin this meeting, let us pause for a 60-second moment of silence to reflect, meditate, pray, or engage in any other silent activity. Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance to be led by Jessie Lawson, a Broken Arrow High School student, and her peer partner, Laura Singletary, a 2015 Broken Arrow High School graduate.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Gotcha.
Whoops, hold on.
The next item on the agenda is the formal adoption of the agenda. Prior to moving the formal adoption, there is an item number 37. As a result of our minutes, last board meeting, we indicated that the 12-month holiday schedule would be on the regular agenda. As a result of that, since it is on the consent, it needs to be moved to the regular agenda. So item number 37 will become item number 66 in the business services section. I would entertain a motion to formally adopt the agenda with that change.
I make the motion to adopt the agenda with the stated changes by our president.
Second?
We have a motion and second to formally move the adoption of the agenda. Item number 37 will be moved to business services, item number 66. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
I don't
Nick-
know. There we go.
The next item on the agenda are the minutes of June 8th, 2015 regular meeting. Certainly I'm open to any comments or questions you may have, any corrections.
Too late.
I would entertain a motion if there are none.
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
We have a motion and second to approve the June 8th, 2015 regular board meeting minutes. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Abstain.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes. The next item under comments from the public, seeing that we do not have any, we'll move to the next item, which is the general consent agenda items with the removal of item number 37 going to the regular agenda, item number 66.
Recommend approval.
Second.
We have a motion and second to approve the general consent agenda items. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes. The next item on the agenda, under Superintendent and Board of Education Communications, Mr. Dwayne Thompson.
Good evening. The next item we have relates to the creation of a cabinet position. In this case, it would be the Chief Information Officer. Basically would be the cabinet position for technology as we go to one-to-one and more applications related to technology is the addition of this position. According to the board policy, it states that the board would approve the establishment, then we'll post the position and then come back at a future date to make a recommendation on the position. So tonight, all you would be doing is authorizing us to establish the position and post.
Okay. Any questions? I would entertain a motion.
Recommend approval.
Second?
We have a motion and second to approve the creation of a new position on the cabinet level, Chief Information Officer. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes. The next item, Dr. Dunlop.
Good evening, President Kelly, members of the board. I'm going to give the legislative update, and basically this is a summary of most of these bills we've talked about through the entire session. These are the bills that have passed only, and then I'll give a little commentary on those that were not passed and stayed in session. The first one is Senate Bill 706, and this is the emergency clause on the TLE. And this is one we saw coming. It's going to delay the quantitative piece of the TLE implementation. It's something we really wanted. The next one is Senate Bill 711. And this was just kind of one of those not talked about bills. It just basically says that that districts can deny teacher contracts based on criminal charges that may revoke their license. They don't necessarily have to be convicted, but if it's a charge that could revoke their license, they can be denied a contract with a district. Senate Bill 50 allows ag education to be offered in middle schools. This was something that was before only offered in high schools. The next slide is Senate Bill 630. This is the emergency clause on bill that was passed for RSA. This is one we saw coming. It adds the most significant piece is that it's only counting the reading portion, the vocabulary piece of the tests. Before it was a language arts test. We argued and argued about that. Finally got it passed that they're only going to count the reading portion of the test. And then the other thing that the significant change is that it requires that we do portfolios on all students who are below proficient. We were ahead of the curve on this. We already did portfolios for all of our third grade students, so that wasn't an issue. It also states that there has a clause in there that students can show third grade proficiency anytime in grades K through 3. So that if any point they show proficiency in our district screener, then they will not have to be retained. And that's, of course, up to what's called the student reading proficiency team. This is pretty much the same as what they had before as the team that decided, but instead they've removed the principal from that team, which is a blessing to us because the principals in the big sites, it was a huge toll to try to go to every single one of those team meetings. And then it also, this provides that state-approved screening instruments can count as proficient. Again, this is great for us because we already had this in place. We have screeners that we use, and we also have Literacy First. So we're in very, very good shape. The next legislation is House Bill 2024. This is one that's been talked about a lot, discussing carrying firearms on school grounds. What the state is requiring is that this has to be personnel specifically designated by the Board of Education. They must possess a reserve peace officer license or an armed security license. So what we'll be doing is discussing this through the coming months and then coming to the board for their recommendations as far as this. And again, it just says may. We don't have to adopt a policy. It just says that we may. House Bill 1823 is a bill regarding the report card calculations. Again, this is one that we fought for. It requires that the Oklahoma State Regents of Higher Education approve the new calculation methods for the school report cards. So none of this funny math. Will actually have the state regents approve that. The next legislation is House Bill 1034, and these are charter school bills. There's two of them. It allows tribal charter schools, and the next one is 1691. It allows local education agencies, so districts that have 30,000 or more, there's only a couple in the state, so we know who they are, or a county of over 500,000 people to create charter schools within the districts. So because we're part of Tulsa County, this could be us. And then also it allowed that the bottom 5% of charters performing on state exams could be closed by the state board. This is a good thing because for the longest time we had charter schools that weren't performing as well as state school, regular schools. Senate Bill 29 is regarding the state board and teacher certification. For a long time, the state board used to send notices to teachers when their certification was about to expire. They stopped doing that. We did not like that. And so now they're going to start sending those again. And that's a huge service to us, and I know our HR department, because that's a pain trying to keep up with all that. Senate Bill 20 is reciprocity. I can't even say the word. But basically what it means is out-of-state certificates, we're going to recognize most of those, and that's going to really help us as far as retaining good talent from out-of-state teachers who move into our state and our area. Senate Bill 5 as reasonable force liability immunity in student attacks. So if a student attacks a principal, teacher, or anyone on school grounds that is an employee, that they have the right to be able to defend themselves and they are immune to being liable for any injury. So those things that were carried over to the next session, obviously funding, we've talked about funding. Testing and standards. One of the reasons that testing and standards have kind of been carried over is because we're waiting to see if ESEA is recertified. If it's recertified, that's going to affect a lot of things. Rumor has it if ESEA is recertified, that's No Child Left Behind. If it's recertified, that there's going to be significant changes in that they're going to push all the responsibility back to the states. And so it won't be a national issue anymore. And the second portion of that is because we still haven't finished with our state standards in English language arts and math. We really can't determine an assessment. So that's why those ACT bills were pushed over, or those national exam bills were pushed over. Until we get the state standards in place, then legislators just didn't want to hear that, any argument about those. So I'll take any questions.
Any questions on the report?
Go ahead, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Dr. Dunlop, on House Bill 1691, the charter bill,
Mm-hmm.
is that the one that provides cities to be able to,
Yes, it is.
like the city council can go and open up a charter school within our district?
Yes.
I know that was in there, they were gonna take it out, but then, like, it got snuck back in there.
Yeah,
at
that was the counties of, it's actually county.
Count, yeah.
Counties of 500,000 or more, so Tulsa County would be one of those, and of course, the Oklahoma City area, whatever county that is. Is that Oklahoma County? Both of those areas would have the ability to do that. But at the same note, our district, if we decided we wanted to start a charter school within our district, we can do that, because within that bill, they allowed something called conversion charters. So we could take one of our sites, or even a portion of one of our sites, and create a small charter within a school. So a school within a school.
So if we have Tulsa and Wagner County in our district, can only the kids in Tulsa County go to church?
You know, I don't know that they made that designation. That's a great question, because I think there's a lot of districts that would have, be split by county. So.
Any other questions? Thank you for the
Thank you.
report. The next item under Operations Services, Ms. Michelle Bergwall.
Good evening, President Kelly, members of the board. Tonight I ask for your approval on some flooring for Centennial Middle School. The need didn't arise, but our awareness of the need arose when we were having our principal meetings throughout the second semester, and when we visited Centennial. Even though we knew his carpet was ranked second as far as worst in the district, when we walked upstairs, we realized that in the hallways upstairs, the carpet really had become wrinkled and become quite a safety hazard. It also didn't present the best smell as we walked up there, so we hurried and got some product selected and bids out, and we received 2 bids on the replacement of that flooring, and I'm asking for your approval tonight to select Interior Concepts as the lowest bidder to replace the flooring at Centennial Middle School. We did pick a product that was supposed to be ready shipped, so it is our intent to have this new flooring down before the start of school.
Questions? I would entertain a motion.
Recommend approval?
Second.
We have a motion and second to approve the quote for the flooring replacement at Centennial Middle School from the lowest responsible vendor, Interior Concepts, Inc., in the amount of $34,880 with payment from the 2009 bond fund. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Thank you.
For the next item, Mr. Grant Moore.
Good evening. I actually have the next 5 items. The first one is number 41, where I'm seeking your approval for the bid for replacement playground mulch and safety mats at 14 school sites in the amount of $96,252.70, submitted by Playwell Group Incorporated, with payment coming from the 2009 bond fund. Bidding was done in compliance with the Competitive Bid Act and board policy. We did reject 2 of the alternates. We had each bidder submit samples of their mulch, and it was still too dangerous. It was too sharp, so we threw the low bid out for that.
Mr. Moore, looking at something like this, about periodically, how often is this something that we would go out and solicit bids for? In other words, replacement of this type of thing. Would it be every 5, 10? I mean, how long has it been?
I believe it's been 6 years. It should be every 3 to 5. We are actually in the process of getting 2 members of our maintenance staff certified to inspect playgrounds. We've discussed with the city, that's what they do. They have 3 members of their staff that are licensed, or not licensed, but certified to inspect playgrounds. And so we're going to follow their lead and do the same thing, so we inspect our own. And that way we can certify that we have the proper fall ratings.
Other questions?
Mr. Moore, what's the price difference between a synthetic material and maybe a natural mulch material?
I believe it's 4 to 5 times.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
What would be the, I mean, you may not know, but, I mean, because we don't have it, but what would be the lifespan of the synthetic material?
It depends on what you choose and the thickness of it. It's usually in the 10 to 15 year range. It's not going to last forever. Even the surfaces that we poured in place at Aspen Creek and Creekwood won't last forever.
Any other questions? If not, I would entertain a motion.
Recommend approval.
Second.
We have a motion and second to approve the bid for the replacement of the playground mulch and safety mats at 14 school sites submitted by the Playwell Group, Inc. in the amount of $96,252.70 with payment from the 2009 bond fund. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes. The next item?
The next item is number 42, seeking your approval of a new agreement with Otis Elevator to provide full preventative maintenance service for 14 elevators and person lifts throughout the district for a total cost of $28,980, and that'll be paid through building funds.
Any questions on this?
Recommend approval. Second.
We have a motion and second to approve the new agreement between Broken Arrow Public Schools and Otis Elevator Company, providing a full preventive maintenance service for 14 district elevators at various sites for the 2015-16 school year. The total cost to the district is $28,980, and it will be paid from the building fund. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes. The next item?
So number 43, seeking your approval of a new agreement with Murray Womble Incorporated to provide preventative maintenance for the windscreen that surrounds the high school tennis courts for the 2015-2016 school year, with a total cost of $1,120 to be paid through building funds.
I do have a question on this, and it certainly is not something that I'm aware of, but how long have we been instituting this windscreen?
I believe this is our first time to do the preventative maintenance on it.
Yes, it's the first time, but I mean, we've had the windscreen for
I don't know, it
a
was there
while,
before
and
I
it's
came.
the
been there
preventive
a while.
maintenance issue. I mean, I'm just trying to understand it a little bit better.
I'm not for sure when it was installed. It was
Okay.
before I came to the district.
Probably 2 or 3 years.
2 to 3 years. Well, I mean, obviously there's a need for it, and I certainly am not questioning that at all. I was just trying to get a little bit of information for myself to understand it better, so
Yeah.
I do appreciate it very much.
You in the market for a windscreen?
Okay, are there other questions?
Recommend approval.
Second.
We have a motion and second to approve the new agreement between Broken Arrow Public Schools and Murray Womble, Inc., providing preventive maintenance at Broken Arrow High School for the tennis court windscreen for the 2015-16 school year. The total cost to the district is $1,120 to be paid from the building fund. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes. Next item.
Number 44, seeking your approval of a new agreement with Murray Womble Incorporated to provide a preventative maintenance program for our basketball goals used in school gymnasiums. These are the retractable ones to make sure they're lubricated and working properly. And it's in the amount of $24,640 to be paid through building funds.
I have another question.
Yes, ma'am.
Is this the first time that we're doing this too?
I believe so, yes.
And I think that's a good thing. And so I certainly want to make that clear, but this makes all of the equipment and the various things that our students use last longer. So
Correct.
I do appreciate your answer on that. Thank
Who
you.
was doing that before? Was anybody?
We were just fixing them as they had problems.
Yep.
Any other questions?
Recommend approval.
Second?
Have a motion and second to approve the new agreement between Broken Arrow Public Schools and Murray Womble, Inc., providing preventive maintenance at basketball goals at gymnasiums in the district for the 2015-16 school year. The total cost of the district is $24,640 and will be paid from the building funds. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes. Next item.
Number 45, approve a new agreement with Murray Womble Incorporated to provide a preventative maintenance program for the telescoping bleachers in 7 district gymnasiums for the 2015-2016 school year. Total cost of $7,840 to be paid through building funds. This is a program that we had in the past that we let lapse, and so we're going back to it. We had hoped to be able to certify our own staff to do the inspections and preventative maintenance, but the manufacturer won't allow that.
Any other questions? I would entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve?
Second?
We have a motion and second to approve the new agreement between Broken Arrow Public Schools and Murray Womble, Inc., providing preventive maintenance on Halsey Seating Company telescoping bleachers at 7 district sites for the 2015-16 school year. The total cost of the district is $7,840 and will be paid from the building fund. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Next item, Mr. Brian Daly.
Good evening, President Kelly, members of the board. I bring to you tonight a motion to approve or disapprove the agreement between B&A Connections and CipherWorks, Inc. to provide online training to 60 B&A Connection employees in the amount of $5,400. This is for B&A Connection employees which are required to complete DHS-approved training hours annually. This will come out of B&A Connections Activity Fund.
Okay, any questions on this?
Recommend approval.
Second?
We have a motion and second to approve the new agreement between Broken Arrow Public Schools and CipherWorks, Inc., providing online training to 60 B&A Connections employees for the 2015-16 school year. The total cost of the district is $5,400 annually and will be paid from the B&A Connections Activity Fund. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes, thank you. Next item under Instructional Services, Ms. Shannon Turner.
Okay. This item is the MOU between Broken Arrow Schools and Career Tech. The Oklahoma Department of Career Tech and Technology Education is going to provide $24,000 for the STEM program at Centennial Middle School. This is a grant I believe they wrote and received the funding.
Okay. If there are no questions, I would entertain a motion.
We don't know the answers if we do.
Don't
then.
know the answer.
Recommend approval?
Second.
We have a motion and second to approve the new memorandum of understanding between Broken Arrow Public Schools and Career Tech for the 2015-16 school year. The Oklahoma Department of Career and Technology Education will provide $24,291 for the STEM program at Centennial Middle School. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes, thank you.
I just remembered it was for 3D printers.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is
Not Gina
voila.
Foster. Good evening,
Good
President Kelly, members of the board. As you can see, I am not Gina. She was unable to be with us tonight. But we're seeking your approval for an encumbrance for reimbursement to the Oklahoma Health Care Authority. What this is when we bill for Medicaid, we receive $1 and 37.7% of that dollar, or 37 cents, must be returned to the Oklahoma Health Care Authority. Back in the 90s, when we first started billing Medicaid, it was taken out up front before the district received the money. And they changed this a few years ago to where it's a reimbursement from the school district. So we have to encumber money to reimburse the Oklahoma Health Care Authority actually before we receive the money, and that's what this is. So it's a reimbursement back. We reimburse, it depends on the amount of billing per quarter, but we're reimbursing approximately $50,000 per quarter at the end of this current year. So we're looking at it being a 4-quarter program, and it probably won't amount to this much, but we want to give that leeway, so we're requesting the $200,000 of encumbrance.
Any questions?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
A motion and second to approve the encumbrance of funds for fees incurred through the Oklahoma Health Care Authority related to reimbursement funds through Medicaid for the 2015-16 school year, which will total approximately $200,000. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Next item under Student Services, Mr. Ken Ellett.
Good evening. I've got several contracts here tonight. The first one is for our girls basketball team to attend the Jenks Union basketball tournament. It's a competitive tournament, and there is no cost to the district. In fact, they pay us $250 to attend.
If there are no questions, I would entertain a motion.
Recommend approval.
Second.
We have a motion and second to approve the Broken Arrow varsity girls basketball team to attend the Jenks Union High School basketball tournament on January 21st through the 23rd. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes. Next item.
The next contract I have is for our boys team to attend the Sky Troop tournament. It's January 7th, 8th, and 9th. And again, there is no cost to the district.
I would certainly, if there are no questions, I'd entertain a motion.
Recommend approval.
Second.
We have a motion and second to approve the Broken Arrow varsity boys basketball team to attend the Skytook High School basketball tournament on January 7th through the 9th, 2016. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes. Next item.
Okay. Our next contract is for the boys to attend the Moore tournament on January 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. And I seek your approval for that.
If there are no questions, I'd entertain a motion.
Recommend approval.
Second.
We have a motion and second to approve the Broken Arrow varsity boys basketball team to attend the Moore High School basketball tournament on January 21st through 23rd, 2016. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes. Next item.
Okay, and the last contract is a contract for the Football Booster Club with the Embassy Suites in the Dallas area, the DFW Airport South, and for 40 rooms and for a minimum of 160 people, they will have a meal for pregame meal that day of the game.
All right. Are there questions on this one?
Recommend approval.
Second.
We have a motion and second to approve the agreement between Broken Arrow Public Schools and Embassy Suites, DFW Airport South. Room charges will be $4,760. Food and beverage will be a minimum of $4,320 for 160 students. The Football Booster Club will be funding the event. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes. Next
you.
item. Oh, you are not
You
on.
got one more.
There's one more here. Yes.
Soccer.
Tennessee.
53.
53.
I don't have that one.
To go to Gatlinburg for the soccer boys.
Do you have it up in front of you?
No, I don't.
Here.
Do you want to do it now?
My apologies.
It's all right.
The next one is for our soccer program, our soccer team to go to Smoky Mountain Tournament in Tennessee for the for a soccer tournament. Seek your approval for that.
All right. If there are no questions, I'd entertain a motion.
Recommend approval.
Second.
We have a motion and second to approve the Broken Arrow boys soccer team to attend the Smoky Mountain Tournament in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, March 31st through April 3rd. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes, thank you.
That's all.
Next item on the agenda, Mr. Derek Blackburn.
Good evening. I bring to you tonight a memorandum of understanding with the Oklahoma State Department of Health to provide basically a program called FitnessGram, whereas this replaces or is in conjunction with, I should say, the President's Challenge, which I even participated in way back when, and NFL Play 60, which is basically to get active. And the FitnessGram component is to provide data to the State Department of Health to determine, really to look at levels of health in our children. And this is basically a volunteer program for our PE teachers in elementary and middle school, those that want to participate. They will be provided curriculum in August, as well as items that they don't currently have to provide these types of tests. The information that is provided will follow under FERPA, and there are some strict guidelines in regards to the data that is provided to them. Also, this information will be provided to the parents, hopefully in a situation to bring some notification to them if there's some concerns about their children.
Okay. Any questions or comments?
Recommend approval?
Second. We have a motion and second to approve the new memorandum of understanding between Broken Arrow Public Schools and the Oklahoma State Department of Health, providing an opportunity to establish a FitnessGram program in selected school sites. There is no cost to the district. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is Mr. Darren Davis.
Good evening, President Kelly, members of the board. I bring before you this evening the Pride of Broken Arrow seeking approval for an agreement between SW Design LLC, which is West Cartwright, and Broken Arrow Public Schools for a host of duties and organizations: show concept formulation, music and visual design coordination, our costume and flag design, prop design, color guard instruction, as well as design of the color guard show, choreography for the Pride of Broken Arrow. That is total in the cost of $5,000 per month, be paid for the student activity account. This is a reorganization of an ongoing payment that we've had to Mr. Cartwright and SW Designs. We want to become compliant and transparent from the board, and been requested to make this change to approve a contract.
Are there questions?
Recommend approval.
Second?
We have a motion and second to approve the agreement between Broken Arrow Public Schools and SW Design LLC, West Cartwright, providing services for show concept formation, music and visual design coordination, costume design, flag equipment design, prop design, color guard show design, color guard instruction, color guard choreography for the Pride or Broken Arrow Band program. Fees include all travel expenses. Services will be provided on an ongoing basis between July 1st, 2015 and June 30th, 2016. Compensation is $5,000 per month, paid from the Pride Student Activities Account 820. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes. Thank you. Next item, Ms. Luann Goodacre.
Good evening. Tonight I'm asking your approval to raise breakfast and lunch prices by 10 cents for students K through 12. We are not going to raise pre-Ks. Their meals are limited. They only get what we serve them. They do not get the fruit and vegetable bar unlimited, and so we'd like to leave theirs the same. And this is in accordance with our paid lunch equity that we brought in May.
Okay. Are there questions regarding this?
You said 10 cents?
Yes.
With the information provided for us, we're still one of the lowest in the area for a school like that. Recommend approval.
Second.
I have a motion and second to approve the breakfast and lunch price increase. Lunch prices will increase by 10 cents as follows: elementary from $1.90 to $2, middle school and high school from $2.25 to $2.35, and premium meals at the high schools will increase from $2.75 to $2.85. Breakfast prices will increase by 10 cents from 95 cents to $1.05 for students K through 12. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Miss Kelly?
Yes. Next item.
Yes, my next item is, I'm asking your approval for the renewal of our agreement with Go Fresh. They're a produce company to provide any produce that we cannot order through our DoD program, the Department of Defense program. And we estimate the cost to be around $200,000.
Okay. If there are no questions, I would entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
We have a motion and second to approve the agreement renewal with Go Fresh for weekly deliveries of produce items that cannot be ordered from the Department of Defense. The estimated cost for produce is $200,000. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Miss Kelly?
Yes.
Do
Next
we
item.
order produce from the Department of Defense?
Yes, they provide produce through our commodity program for schools and for service members.
Cool.
My last item is to ask for renewal of Highland Dairy to provide milk and dairy products to all sites at the approximate cost of $625,000.
Okay. If there are no questions, I would entertain a motion.
Do we bid this out, or how do we go
Yes,
about
we
getting
bid
this?
it. We did it last year with the option to renew for up to
Oh, okay.
3.
Was there an increase in this year's pricing, or was it?
We do an escalating, de-escalating. We seem like we get a better price that way instead of getting a fixed price. So it does vary a cent or two over the course of the year.
Recommend approval.
Second.
We have a motion and second to approve the renewal with Highland Dairy to provide milk and dairy products for all sites during the 2015-16 school year. The approximate cost will be $625,000. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Miss Kelly?
Yes. Thank you. The next item, Miss Natalie Ena.
Good evening. We're going to look at the monthly financials through the end of May. We are at $46.9 million in our state aid allocation. No, excuse me, we received an updated allocation from the State Department in June, with our new allocation being $46.9 million, which was approximately $30,000 more than the last midterm adjustment that we received at the beginning of February. What we believe happened was at the end of the legislative session, the State Department kind of regrouped, figured out how much extra that they had collected from revenue increase, some corrections that they'd made, and then they distributed that amongst all of the districts. And so our share was approximately $30,000 more. Our ad valorem came in pretty much as expected, and state sources were a little bit ahead of where we were last year. All in all, with our flexible benefit allocations, which is the majority of this state revenue, we collected $10.1 million. Everything else is about the same. You can see our federal collections finally caught up from where we were lagging in Title I, so that finally caught up to where we needed to be in that category. Building fund, again, our ad valorem came in as projected, and our local sources of revenue were mainly from our rebates from PSO, the retrofitting that we did at our sites. That goes into the building fund. Child nutrition, we are up in all 3 major categories of collections, and even with the price increase that Ms. Goodacre just talked about, obviously we're competitive with our lunch prices, and our child nutrition department is coming up with innovative ways to capture revenue for this particular fund. General fund expenditures, our non-salary portion of our expenses in general fund remain relatively flat from where we were last year, which is a good thing.
The only outlier in this was in this 900 object series. You can see that's where we made the fund transfer to our self-insured workers' comp fund, Fund 83. Building fund expenditures, we had some one-time expenditures in this fund this year, as our bond funds from the 2009 allocation have pretty much stopped, with the exception of our annual allocations that we receive for technology and maintenance and instruction. So we've had to rely a little bit more on building fund this year, and probably going forward until the 2015 allocation kicks in to cover some one-time expenditures. Child nutrition, again, they also had a one-time expenditure with the remodel of the high school student union, finishing out the cafeteria and the furnishings. That all came from their fund to get their fund balance where it needed to be. And then you can also see their portion of their workers' comp expense that was transferred to Fund 83. And we are rapidly closing out the end of the year, this being only a few more days till the end of the fiscal year to narrow down that fund balance, but we're still on track to stay at our targeted goal of 14%.
Are there questions or comments? Thank you. I appreciate that. The next item, Ms. Donna Dollahan.
Good evening. I'm here to give you the treasurer's reports for the end of May. Cash balances report shows a total of $78,047,000 in assets for the district. The investments for the district total at the end of May $67,830,000. Our fund security and deposit report shows a total of $88,700,000 in collateral pledged to Broken Arrow schools. Our deposits that require collateral total $53,801,000, leaving an available balance of collateral in the amount of $34,899,000.
Okay, are there any questions? Thank you.
In the activity funds, receipts total $5,835,000 at the end of May. Disbursements total $5,384,000, leaving a balance in the activity funds of $2,454,000.
Questions on this? Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item, Ms. Kathy Metavalis.
The first item is the encumbrance report for encumbrances from June 4th to June 18th of 2015, totaling $215,619.95.
Okay, are there any questions on these? Okay, I would entertain a motion.
Recommend approval.
Second.
We have a motion and second to approve the encumbrance reports for all funds for the 2014-15 fiscal year. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes. Next item.
Next item are the change orders from the same period of time, reflecting a decrease of $224,060.96. Request your approval for these change orders.
Hold on just a moment. Have we scrolled up? Have we moved up one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, are there questions on this?
Recommend approval.
Second.
We have a motion and second to approve the change order reports for general fund, cooperative fund, building fund, workers' compensation, bond funds, SCIF funds, and child nutrition funds for the 2014-15 fiscal year. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
The next item, we don't typically show two encumbrance reports in one meeting. This next item is a report reflecting encumbrances which will go into place as of July 1st, 2015 from FY16 funds. We're doing those ahead of time so that we can begin 7/1 operating seamlessly. These have been created, so they've shown up on the report, but they are not effective in your approval. You are approving them tonight effective July 1st. So your approval tonight means that we can pay from these encumbrance orders July 1st.
Okay, I do have one question, and I know that you've done a very good job in answering this before regarding the background checks. Are we seeing an increase in the amount that we are setting aside for those? Are they quarterly? I mean, I noticed we have a $30,000 amount set aside for that, but we expect that to be more than that. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Okay, thank you for that answer. Any other questions? I would entertain a motion.
Recommend approval.
Second.
We have a motion and second to approve the encumbrance reports for all funds for the 2015-16 fiscal year. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda, item 65, Mr. Dwayne Thompson.
Okay, one of the items related to the return to work stipend. We have several retirees that are going to return to work, take their 60 days off and then return to work. And typically we've made these payments in August. And so because of either they're going to be working for us or other institutions that participate in TRS, what would basically happen is we'd pay them the stipend, then TRS would reduce their benefits by that dollar amount because they will exceed the dollar amount allowable. So in our discussions, we're going to pay this out obviously regardless if it's in June or in August. And so what we're contemplating here for the board is for us to pay it by June 30th. It'll be in this year's fiscal year, so it'll be counted on this year's salary for them, and they won't be losing that moving forward into the new fiscal year as if we would have paid it in August. So there's what we just are proposing here is, since it's only really going to impact 3 or 4 retirees, but we want to treat all the retirees as the same, so we move them all to basically June 29th payday. They would have all met the requirements that they were supposed to have done, everything as they would have done previously. And when I estimate the cost, that's basically to move it into this fiscal year as opposed to the other fiscal year. It really doesn't cost any more. It's just basically the same. So hopefully I've explained what we're attempting to do, but we're really trying not to penalize retirees for the stipend that the district has approved.
If there are no questions, I'd certainly want to entertain any questions that anyone has relative to this. If not, certainly I would entertain a motion.
Sounds like we probably should have done it before this even.
Well, I don't know that we've had really retirees come back to work in that same time frame. Also, TRS has changed their rulings, and before it was you could make $15,000. Now they've divided that into 12 months and say you can only make $1,250 a month. So where we may have in the past been going under the premise of $15,000 for the year, they've now said no, it's now $1,250 a month. So so they have. There's been a few variables, including not having very many people do the return to work as an employee here.
Other questions?
Recommend approval.
Second.
We have a motion and second to approve the early payment of the return to work stipends for district retirees. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes. Next item.
Okay, the last item is for the 12-month employees for the holiday schedule. We had that on the last agenda. We removed that to be reconsidered, and we've done that. You have the list of the days, and so it's just an agenda item to cover that. The same number of days that we've had in the past, and so I would entertain any questions that you would have about that.
If there are no questions, I certainly would entertain a motion.
Recommend approval.
Second.
We have a motion and second to approve the 12-month holiday schedule for the 2015-16 fiscal year. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes. Next item on the agenda is to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and second to adjourn. Please call the roll.
Dr. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes. Thank you, everybody.